Now, rumours are flying around that Jack Grealish could be on his way out of Aston Villa. A player that the whole nation really much enjoyed throughout the Euros and can quite literally change a game of football. He's easily Aston Villa's player, and I decided this was the perfect opportunity for a new rebuild by selling Jack Grealish. And of course, I'm here with my dad. Welcome back. Now, for the next rebuild, we want the viewers' help, don't we? We have picked a save each because so many people write in the comment section, do this team, so we're going to pick and we want you to vote. So, my pick is going to be a futuristic rebuild. I'm going to simulate 10 seasons and then I'm going to pick a team. So it could be anyone random who's ever struggling in about 10 years' time. The reason why, I like using regens and I don't want to keep signing the same players. What is the team that you'd like to rebuild?
I'm going to go for Leeds.
Leeds United.
My reason being is I've got a friend in work who's been watching our videos, comments on them all the time, and he really enjoys them, and he's asked me to do Leeds for him.
Okay.
But on one condition, that I don't sell Phillips.
Don't sell Calvin Phillips. Right, okay, we'll
Gotta
try
do
our
Leeds
best.
with Calvin Phillips. So Matt, this one's for you. If we do it, if we get enough votes, we'll do Leeds.
Okay, so you have to, it's in your hands now, viewers. The comment section below. Is it going to be Leeds United or is it going to be the futuristic save? Let us know down in the comments. Now, before we take a look at me selling Jack Grealish, this is how we have done throughout the first season simulated. Of course, I was not in control. Aston Villa finished in 14th place, 40 points, which is kind of like the point where teams say that they're not going to get relegated if they get to 40 points. I think it's lower now anyway, but not exactly a very good position from Aston Villa, despite having Jack Grealish. So let's see how much we managed to pick up for Jack Grealish. So as you can see, on the 1st of June 2021, I took over Dean Smith's role as Aston Villa manager. And at this point, 15th of July, I have sold Jack Grealish. He has moved to Arsenal, in fact. So I could not get rid of him to a foreign club. That would have been perfect so that I wasn't playing against him. But of course, he's an elite attacking midfielder on this game. We're going to have to come up against him at some point. Maybe we'll take a look at his career after the 5 years and see how he actually did. But 60 million is all I could potentially get for him. Dad, what would you rate value-wise Jack Grealish? What money would you expect him to go for?
And now a word from our sponsors.
Into the AM are a developed premium clothing apparel that provides high quality and unparalleled comfort. All 4 t-shirts myself and my dad are wearing today are from their shop, which the link is down in the description. And in fact, when I made my first order, I struggled narrowing down the amount of t-shirts to pick up because there were so many that I actually liked. So many great designs, from the sleek and simple to some incredible artistic designs. There is something for everybody. Although they are based in Southern California, they still ship to most countries in Europe, Asia, and even Australia, so you won't be missing out on the quality that Into the AM can provide. They actually do some fantastic bundle offers too, and they have very kindly offered me a discount code when you use Omega for 10% off, so I do apologise in advance for your bank account that's going to take a beating. But if your wardrobe needs modernising, Into the AM should be your first stop. Use my link in the description to support the channel and take a look for yourself.
I would have thought even more closer to the 100 million. If you look at like Harry Kane rumoured at the moment, it's going to be 140 million in Man City. Why can't he be around about 100 million? In his 2 games for England, I thought before the championships, he was man of the match. He was outstanding.
Yeah, he has that English tax as well, which makes every player a little bit more expensive. And he's highly influential, and I think would suit Manchester City's game. So £60 million, I think I've been robbed as Aston Villa manager here, to be honest, for a world-class player, in my opinion. But I have made some signings. We'll roll on forward to the start of the first game of the season before the simulation takes place. And let's have a look at who I signed. So our first game is actually against Manchester City, funny enough. But let's have a look then. Transfer history on the outs. 66 million was the total. I did not get a lot of money elsewhere, but I have made some signings. Now, the big signing is actually already encoded into the game because of the database that I downloaded, and a real life signing of Emmanuel Buendia, who's kind of quite fitting really because he plays in that attacking midfield role, maybe where I would have played Jack Grealish, and he's not better, I wouldn't say, but he's still a very good replacement to bring in from Norwich. And I have made a very good signing, I think, in this centre midfielder here. So Irfan Khan Kveki, Now, I can't say I've heard of him, so I very much doubt you have either. He's Turkish, but he's a very solid deep line playmaker who can also play forward as well. And he has some really good standout attributes in the technicals and mentals that I did like, and physicals aren't bad either. 26 years of age. And we actually picked him up for only £13 million from Fenerbahce. So a good signing, definitely. The other signing that I made was Jamal Musiala, who is a very good English/German player from the Bayern Munich's youth academy, who's playing some first team football already. We brought him on loan because he's very solid after 1 year. We're going to see how he does. Maybe we can pinch him from them eventually because he has a really high potential. Ashley Young is already encoded into the game, very much like Buendia. Very much doubt I'm going to play Ashley Young. Now, signings I made before the season transitioned over was Rob Holding. So although Jack Grealish went from Arsenal, we took Rob Holding, who on the game has actually got some really good attributes. Maybe in real life he's not as good as this. £10 million for Rob Holding. He was transfer listed. I thought as a centre-back option for Aston Villa, I thought that was a solid pickup. Another one, Anel Ahmedhodzic. Now, the annoying thing about this player is, unfortunately, he doesn't have a work permit, which means we can't even play him in the Premier League, and I did not realise that until after. However, we only spent £3 million on him, so it's not bad then, it's hardly anything. He is really good. He would have been a starting player, probably over Rob Holding, but we can't use him yet, so I've loaned him out to Celta Vigo, and hopefully we can gain a work permit within the next couple of years and actually use him later on in this rebuild. And the same with Uriel Celli, who is a young Peruvian left-sided player who can also play in centre-attack midfield. I don't think I would have actually played and started Uriel Celli to begin with, but from my Twitch save that I have, he is amazing. So I've brought him in because he's so cheap anyway. I mean, we picked him up for 525k, so £500,000 for this guy. If we ever get to use him, it's amazing. If we don't, we can probably sell him for a profit. Tactically as well, I built this very bog standard attacking 4-2-3-1 tactic, which is a bit of a Gegen press. We've got a winger on attack, an attacking midfield on attack, some really good roles which I think suit the match engine, some inverted wing backs. I want to try inverted wing backs on this. We've got Matty Cash, who's a really solid right back. Matt Target, again, really solid left back. Mings and Holding at the centre backs there. I think Mings is a fantastic player and really good on this game as well. I was quite surprised how well he did in the England team in the Euros. Very happy with that. We've of course got John McGinn in there, who played alongside Jack Grealish. He's really good on the game as well. Really solid player. So I think we stand a good chance to be mid-table, top half. That's what I'm thinking for this first season.
Watkins up front, nice young striker.
Exactly.
Done well at the end of last season.
Can bag a few goals for us. Now, the target for this rebuild, I'm not saying we can reach Champions League glory like we have seen Aston Villa do a long time ago, but I would like to just think that in 5 years' time, title contenders would be an option for us. That's what I'm aiming for. Champions League qualification, at the very least. Let's get in that top four and make Aston Villa a top four club. Now, we're at the end of the first season, and as you can see, we've actually done quite well. 6th place for Aston Villa.
Yeah, that's all right. It's a good start.
So we've picked up, I think, an EUCL, so it's a conference league. The third. I mean, what's your opinions on that?
Well, because we haven't actually seen it operated yet, we don't know what it's going to be like. I don't know whether I like the sound of it. I just think it's another money-making thing, to be honest. I agree
with you. I mean, it's nice for smaller clubs to get money for that, but it's just that, UEFA's pocketing majority of the money that
I shouldn't say too much. The Spurs are in it this season.
So competition-wise, we've done okay. 6th place. Aston Villa fans will be very happy with that. The other competitions: semi-final in the FA Cup, semi-final in the Carabao Cup.
Well, that's a good start, but
very good start.
That's the worst game to lose, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'd rather lose in the final than lose in the semi-final.
Exactly that. Final. Yeah, we've actually had a really good run towards the end of the season as well. If we're looking at the results in the Premier League alone, we only took 1 loss there in the last couple of months. Well, 2 losses if you consider March as well, to Manchester United and to Liverpool. The rest of the games, we won every single game in the Premier League.
Finish of the season, especially
very
the last
good.
game.
6-1 against Newcastle. Ollie Watkins bagged 4. So really solid start. If we do look at the goals and assists, Ollie Watkins managed to get 33 goals this season. Musiala picked up 21, the youngster from Germany there. Assist-wise, we had 23 assists from Buendia, who also managed to pick up 15 goals. So really solid start. If we take a look at the statistics, Buendia actually had the most assists this season in the whole league, 4 more than James Maddison and James Rodriguez. So solid start from him. Now, we're starting off the second season with a couple of huge signings, to be honest. Both of them from the Netherlands. We start off 37 million going up to 45 for Noni Madueke, and he's actually an English winger. I've highlighted him on the game before. He's a very good attacking winger who can play on both sides. I think we're going to use him on the left-hand side because Jurel Celi still doesn't have a work permit. Right. Neither does Anel Ahmedhodzic. So we're going to have to use these players. And for that amount of money, it's quite a lot, but I think it'll be worth it. He could be with us for the end of this whole rebuild. It'd be really good for us. The other player, I cannot believe we got him this cheap, Ryan Gravenberch. Now, I have his shirt because I love how good Ryan Gravenberch is. And he's like, 18 in real life now, and already he's playing so many games for Ajax and playing really well in those games as well. A really solid wonder kid on this game. Has a potential range of up to 180. Whether we'll see him reach that, we're not sure yet. But I mean, he's what every team in the Premier League would want in a player for a box-to-box midfielder. Very much like a Frank Lampard, I think. He's a goal threat, but also, I mean, he's 6'3". He's a bit of an aerial threat too. I really like Ryan Gravenberch. Now, the penultimate signing I'm going to show you today is Elias Akomak. Now, he plays on the right-hand side. We got him for £5.5 million from Barcelona. He has a minimum fee release clause, which is why we picked him up so cheap. I was surprised to see it was still active in the third season, if you will, from this point of view. It's the second season in the rebuild, but 3 seasons in game that they've had a chance to get rid of it, and they haven't. He's 18. We're going to start him as well, even though he's 18, and we'll run through the tactic in a sec. The other signing we made, I felt like we need someone better at left back, and this man was available.
What a player.
What a player.
He did well for England.
Exactly. And the deal that I actually made was quite amazing. Now, he's only on 63k a week, and that is because Manchester United are paying another 60k for him. They transfer listed him, but he wanted so much money, and it was close to the end of it's close to the end of the season when I seen that he was transfer listed. So we picked him up. It doesn't show that they're playing at the other amount, but it doesn't matter. That's how much we've managed to knock him down for £12 million for Luke Shaw.
That's a steal, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. They really don't rate him as highly on this game as what I think they will do in the next game because he's just that good. So the tactic has slightly changed. We've used the winger on attack before. We've now used the inverted winger on attack because Elias Akomak is left-footed only, but he's very good at long shots and really good at cutting in on his left foot. He has it cuts inside from the right wing as his player trait as well. So I think we're going to make the most of that. Buendia's moving into the Jamal Musiala role, into that centre of the pitch, and I think he's going to be more useful there because he has better attributes than Musiala, so we'll see how that does. Madueke goes on the left. Luke Shaw, who I personally think is a really good inverted wing back in real life. We see him doing that, cutting on the inside of the winger. It works really well. Maybe it will do here. We're not quite sure. Now, we actually had a few other transfers that was blocked by the board because I was trying to sign players who are above the age of 25. Would you believe it? They were wanting me to sign younger players, which is kind of my forte, and I wasn't doing that. I was trying to sign a centre midfielder who was older. Instead, I got Gravenberch. So, swings and roundabouts, it all worked out for us, I think.
Yeah.
Now, the second season, unfortunately, did not go as well as the first season. We've dropped down the table to the bottom half of the table. We're even behind Wolves.
Look, I just want to say that, believe Wolves. They wouldn't have liked that at all up there, would they?
Not at all, no. And if we look at the form guide, we lost 4 out of the last 5 and drew as well. But what a tough little run there. We had Arsenal, Man City, Man United, Wolves, and then Chelsea as our last 5 games.
5 points behind Brighton. Those 4 games that cost us then, really, didn't it?
Exactly that. So, I mean, 10 points behind Brighton, but, I mean, those 10 points, if we got a few good results in there, that goes right down. So unfortunately, we had a very bad run to the end of the season. It seemed like at the start of the season was okay. We had a bad middle. It kind of sorted itself out around this area, and that's when it went bad. However, let's take a look at the competition still, because we are winners. Double winners. We have won that stupid conference. We won that stupid conference cup, which we're not quite sure what to make of it yet.
We'll take it.
But we also won the FA Cup.
That's the one.
That is the one that you like the most, isn't it?
That's the one, yeah.
That is a huge one for you. Let's
take a look. I
take
bet the fans are really proud of that. I mean, even though we finished mid-table, they'll be happy with that.
Yeah. We beat Leeds 4-2 in the final as well, so it's a fantastic final, to be honest. And we have Bertrand Traore picking up a hat-trick and Ollie Watkins getting one as well, defeating Leeds. I bet the atmosphere was electric in Wembley Stadium for that one. And in the Conference League, we beat Strasbourg 4-0. So that's actually my French team because of an old save that I had, youth to go. So we're the second ever winners of this tournament, and we won it emphatically 4-0. And a bunch of different scorers there, including El Ghazi and Bertrand Traore, who I both think came off the substitute bench, so not a bad little result for Aston Villa there. We have some kind of European trophy, but not obviously the big one. The third big one now that is available to buy, that's the one we've won. If we do take a look at the goals, in case anybody wants to know, Ollie Watkins again is back in 37 goals. Elias Akamak, who I mentioned was now cutting in 23 goals this season with 15 assists for a 19-year-old.
It's good, isn't it?
Not bad at all.
15
really.
assists as well.
Yeah. The most assists, though, comes from our deep-line Turkish player. 26 assists this season. Got a feeling it's because he's really good at corners and free kicks, which means he's probably the set-piece taker. I haven't set up a specific set-piece taker just because it just lets the game pick whoever's the best on the pitch. And obviously that has worked out because 26 assists is huge. So at the start of Season 3, a few names going out, one being John McGinn. Quite frankly, I don't think has done very well for us. 6.7 and a 6.6 in the last couple of seasons. Moved him on to Newcastle for £19 million. We also have brought in Eddie Salcido from Tottenham Hotspur, a player I tried to get very early on. Yeah. I mean, he doesn't play for Tottenham at the start, but he actually played for Inter Milan at the start, and it's a player that I think could be really good on this game if he reaches his full potential. I'm not quite sure what he's like after. It's a bit of a gamble. He has a few really good physical attributes, some decent mentals. He plays mostly as a striker. A few weaknesses, but we'll see how he goes. He's only 21. £17 million. We paid pretty much double what Spurs did, and they barely played him last season. But there we go. He scored 5 goals for Inter Milan the season before that, so he can't be too bad. The other big signing that we brought in, Calvin Phillips.
Solid midfield player.
Very good. So this is going to be the guy who kind of helps out that midfield. We've got the young Turkish lad. Well, I can't remember what he's called. We've got Ryan Gravenberch. We sold John McGinn. We've brought in Calvin Phillips, who I really do think is pretty much putting himself into a world-class midfielder category. And Football Manager sees that too. He has a lot of 15s, some really good natural fitness and stamina. His technicals aren't the best, but technicals are not what's important on this game. I really like Calvin Phillips.
My mate Matt, you hate that. That's his favourite player for Leeds. You hate it.
So tactically, this is how we are looking. We finally got a work permit for Anel Ahmed Hozic, so he comes into the lineup alongside Tyrone Mings, and we have pretty much the same as what we had before. The Calvin Phillips though comes in for the young Turkish lad, but I'm sure he'd be fine with coming off the bench. I've dropped Ollie Watkins because I want to see what Salcido's like. It's the third season. Let's just see if we can make something of Eddie Salcido. He has the potential to be a lot better than Ollie Watkins. I know Watkins has got the goals. It's a gamble though.
Big gamble.
Big gamble. And of course the goalkeeper who Arsenal sold, I mean, he's just ridiculously good.
Yeah.
Now before we simulate the third season, I remember you mentioned to me, Dad, that Aston Villa is the first European Cup final that you can actually remember.
Yeah, it was, I think it was about 82, and they won what was called then the European Cup.
Yeah.
One of those games, Rummenigge played for Bayern Munich. What a player he was, and he was just all over the place. I remember the goal really well. I can remember, when I was thinking about the game, I thought, I remember it was a break down the left-hand side. He got cut across. Peter Wither's come running in, and he's gone into what you thought was pushing into an empty net, and he shinned it, and it hit the post and went in.
Yeah.
And it was like a split second. You thought, and it was in. And it was one of the first games I can actually, cup games I can actually remember. But one thing that stuck in my mind, and it's something that not a lot of people probably remember about that game, was after 10 minutes, Villa lost their goalkeeper through injury.
Oh, really?
And I can't remember his name, but the keeper that came off the bench, Nigel Spinks. It was the start of his career
for
Aston Villa, and I'm not sure, but I think it was his first game. He was only a young lad, and he came off the bench. What a game he had!
Yeah,
he was pulling saves off left, right, and centre, and it was just. And I remember saying to my dad, "Who is this young keeper?" and all that. Both of us didn't know, and what a game he had. And I put it down to why Villa won that game. Really, was how he played more than how the team played. The team played really well. They fought for everything.
He took his chance and ended up making a career out of it.
Well, you could go through the histories of Aston Villa. Nigel Spinks is there.
Yeah.
As one of your best goalkeepers you've ever had for Aston Villa.
Yeah. So at the end of the third season, unfortunately, we still finished in 11th place. And because, obviously, with the cup win before, we had, European football to contend with. So maybe that was a good excuse for how bad we finished.
Yeah.
This one, we got no real big excuse. We just had a bad season. 52 points is still good. We're still mid-table, where I see Aston Villa's mid-table side, in my personal opinion, right now. now. I still feel like this team, though, is better than a mid-table team. You know, we've got some really solid youngsters coming into it. And unfortunately, I think players that I've brought in, that might have been the reason why it cost us in the league. And because, like I mentioned, he played 38 games and only scored 11 goals in the league. Ollie Watkins would not have done that. Ollie Watkins would probably have scored a lot more goals than just 11 in the league. I think it was a big mistake. So at the start of season 4 then, on the outs, Buendia left for £40 million in total. 34 up front, 40 million in total. And Rob Holden left for 18 million, 24 in total as well. A couple of players, Buendia just wanted to leave. He kept on causing a fuss. In the end, I was happy to let him go because he was just annoying me, to be honest. And we've got adequate replacements because I am going to change the tactic. And I'll show you the tactic in a second. We're going to make a bit of a drastic change, I feel. On the ins, though, I've made some really good, solid signings. One of them being a regen, who's only 19 years of age, but I already think he's better than Matty Cash at right back. I think he's an absolutely outstanding player, Argentinian, and because he's played enough youth caps, he's managed to get a work permit, which is really frustrating that we've managed to do that. Or does he have some kind of... No, he is just Argentinian. So the fact that we've managed to get a work permit, not quite sure how, there we go. We've also signed this man, Jordan Torunarigha, who you definitely won't try and pronounce.
No.
I've never heard of him, to be honest. He's German centre back, and he's absolutely amazing. Like, he has some really solid attributes here. And we bought him from Hertha Berlin. He starts off at Hertha Berlin. Let me know down in the comments if you've ever used him before, because I never even heard of him. But a really solid centre back that we've brought in for £34 million. The goalkeeper, though, I wanted to replace the goalkeeper because I think this guy is just simply better. Martin van der Voort. He's a young 22-year-old goalkeeper. He is absolutely incredible. And I think this type of signing will take us from a mid-table team to an upper mid-table top 4 contender. So I think it's a smart signing. We had the money to do it. I went and done it. Now, tactically, I've left a little bit up to whoever is available. Whoever the assistant manager deems worthy enough to play in these positions, because I sometimes think picking a player in every single position might be detrimental to the full season if you're playing a lot of games. So I'm going to trial out something. We have changed the side as well in regards to the shape. We're going 3 in midfield instead of 1 in the hole and behind the striker. The reason being, we sold Buendia, and I feel like Calvin Phillips is better as box to box. Gravenberch is an amazing Mazzala on attack, and he's grown into a very incredibly good and talented attacking midfielder. Having him playing in more central, but having the license to go forward and play a little bit on the wing as well, I think will really work out quite nicely. We've got the 2 centre-backs here. Tyrone Mings is coming out. Big decision, but I think the other guy that we've just signed is slightly better. Tyrone Mings is now 31. It's a big call. He's our captain as well, so I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But Anel and this man, I'm still going to fail to pronounce. I'm putting him in. Ollie Watkins, still not in the starting lineup. I think Eddie Salcido's had a very good season there. He's becoming a very solid player. I'm going to try him again for one more season to see how he does. Now, before we go on and see how season 4 simulated, is there any Aston Villa players that you can remember that have really been a favourite of yours?
Yeah, there's a few. I mean, going back 40 years probably, you got Brian Little, who's a good little sort of on-the-ball player, entertainer really. Good solid player was Gordon Carrons. He was a skipper. I think he was a skipper as well at some time. But I think for a long-term player, you had 2 really. There was James Milner, who was there for a few seasons. But your outstanding player would have been Gareth Barry. I think he played for Villa for about 10 seasons.
Yeah,
he was Villa through and through. Done, good service for Villa really. And striker wise, I always liked Dwight York. I like my strikers really. One player always stood out for Villa, and I mean, if you speak to anybody who knows Villa over the years really, you would have Paul McGrath. One of these players that gave you 100% every game, but he was injury prone, but he couldn't train during the week.
Yeah,
he was that bad of an injury prone that he couldn't just train during the week 100% on the Saturday.
He's a bit like a Ledley King.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, it's just unbelievable. He was nearly always man of the match as well for what he gave and all that. Really good player. But I would say now you're probably the best player that everybody's going to know is Jack Grealish.
Yeah.
At this present moment. But I've got a question for you.
Okay.
Who's the most famous Aston Villa supporter.
Of course, it's Prince William.
You had to let me down, didn't
I
you?
ain't falling for that one. The Prince of Wales.
Future king.
Yeah, future king. Now, at the end of season 4, we have broke into the top 4. We've done
Got
it.
there.
We're behind Chelsea, but we're above Leicester, Tottenham, Man City finishing 8th, Arsenal in 9th, Aston Villa 71 points, 10 points off the champions Liverpool, who had a very good end of the season and looks like beat Manchester United to the title, who had a stinker at the end like we did. Yeah, 4 out of the 5 games are lost and they drew. They're giving up that title to Liverpool at the end. Very disappointing from my point of view. But Aston Villa, I think we had a very good season there and a very good end to the season. Let's take a look at the schedule and see where it was won and lost. We had a bad moment here. October, November. Really poor there. If we managed to pick up a couple of wins there, I mean, look at those, like Brighton, Wolves. There's a few games there you'd like to think Sheffield United that we should have picked up wins, and then it completely changed. If you take a look after that, December, January, February, and even March, really good end of the season there. And even through, obviously May, we had 2 losses and a draw there, not the best, but even into April, only 1 loss in the Premier League to Manchester United, which you would expect. Bounced back with a 5-1 victory against Newcastle. He seemed to just be slapping Newcastle each time. So we're doing all right there. Competitions-wise, we were knocked out of the FA Cup by Manchester United in the semi. Carabao Cup quarter-final by Leicester. It's a good season, though.
I'll be happy with that, getting into Europe. Yeah, definitely.
On the goals tally, it's very low indeed. And in fact, our starting striker, Eddie Salcedo, only scored 11 goals in 47 games. Louis Barry, who's coming off the bench, scored 11 goals as well. Our goals man was Elias Akelmack, the winger that we mentioned before. It just doesn't look like we've scored many goals at all. But maybe we just haven't conceded a lot, to be honest. 14 assists from Calvin Phillips as well in the box-to-box midfielder role. And Uriel Celli, who we finally got a work permit for, has been coming on, playing, bagging some assists as well. Okay, at the start of season number 5, big transfer on the outs. Noni Madueke, who's been really good for us, and I mentioned how we should hopefully have him for the rest of the rebuild. He's left. He's gone to Manchester United. He's 23 now. And we managed to pick up £75 million for him. So even though we spent £44 million, we still profited £30 million after his 3 years of service that we managed to get for Noni. So I think it's a good deal because we've been able to bring in potentially the best player that we have seen on a rebuild. And you would not believe the luck that we had. Coming into the club, Youssoufa Moukoko. Now this young lad that you might not have heard of, Dad, because he's about 15, 16 years of age in real life, for Borussia Dortmund, people are buzzing about him. And on Football Manager, he has that potential range of 200 out of 200.
Good,
like Eduardo Camavinga, we picked him up on a free transfer. Now, I tried going for him when we finished the end of the simulation after season 4, and he wouldn't have nothing to do with me. However, no other club managed to pick him up. So if you take a look at the date that we signed him, we picked him up the 12th of July. So he was just a free transfer.
As a birthday present to me, mate.
It was a birthday present. The next day was your birthday. Youssoufa Moukoko joins. Another free transfer. Actually joining when free transfers usually join. The 1st of July was Wesley Fofana. A really good centre-back for Leicester that we've seen in the Premier League be really good and solid. Good backup, I think, for the 2 centre-backs that we've been using. Just solidifies that defence. And one final signing that we have made is another regen. I mentioned about how Luke Shaw is amazing, but maybe not as good on the game. This guy is better than Luke Shaw on the game, personally. We picked him up. He can also play on the right-hand side as well. His physicals are absolutely outstanding. Mentals are really good. He has 18 tackling, but he's also really good at marking and really good at going forward. 20 years of age, we picked him up for £20 million. I'm hoping Prazeres, he's called, he's Portuguese, can be a big game changer for us. Tactically, I'm not choosing any players. We have changed it, so we have 2 up top. I feel like we needed to bring in a secondary striker.
Need to score more goals.
Exactly. Youssoufa Moukoko brings that in. You might recognise the tactic. It's a tactic we used in one of the rebuilds already.
Yeah.
We're bringing it back because I really do feel like it can work well for us. We've still got the inverted winger. We've changed it from the winger to the inverted winger because we know Elias Akelmack has probably been our best player the last couple of seasons. He will fit in that role, but this is what we're going back to basics. We're going back to the 4-2-2, and we're going to see how that goes for us. But with the assistant manager picking whoever he wants, so we're never going to have any fitness problems.
Is that me then?
That would be you. That would be the assistant manager. Can you bring us to glory?
We're in for a win then.
We're in for a win. Let's see how we do. Now, the end of season 5.
What did I tell you?
The end of season 5. Aston Villa champions.
4 points clear as well.
4 points clear of former champions Liverpool, and I really do feel like it is the Yusufa Moukoko effect because the guy is just absolutely unbelievable. The end run of form there, 5 wins from 5. Again, it was quite an easy end of run, but we still have to win them all throughout the whole season. Let's take a look at some of the statistics because Yusufa Moukoko, we wanted goals. He brought goals, 36 of them. Even Eddie Salcedo started scoring with 25, so he was the 3rd top scorer of the league. Uriel Celli, though, very, very good. I mentioned how good he's been for my Fiorentina save. He's got the highest average rating and the most assists, and joint man of the matches with a player from Southampton and Yusufa Moukoko. So he has been absolutely outstanding. Look how good he is now. Incredible player. He's managed to pick up just 22 assists in the league alone. Really solid for us. Other competitions then, we were the runners-up in the Champions League.
Hey, we've won the league and we got to the final of the Champions League. What more can you want in your last season?
I know, it's very
I'd love to have given you the
though.
double.
It's very heartbreaking. We've got a double already with a European trophy, but unfortunately, Inter Milan.
That would have been the big one. That'd just been the perfect finish, wouldn't it?
The icing on the cake. Unfortunately, we did not get it. Donny van der Beek got the goal, the Manchester United player right now. Lukaku and Moukoko both getting 13 goals this season. I'm gutted that Inter Milan managed to pip us to the post there in the Champions League. It's not bad though. 5th round exit in the FA Cup and a semi-final exit in the Cup that nobody really cares about. But we still done it. We have won the bloody league. I cannot quite believe it that we've managed to do that in the final season. I really do feel like
why not?
It's Yusufa Moukoko.
Everybody wants to sign us at the moment.
Everybody does. Everybody does. 54 goals he got in total in 59 games. So it's absolutely outstanding player that we picked up on a free transfer. He's now worth £86 million.
What a signing.
What a signing indeed. Well, Aston Villa fans, what do you think of that? Let us know down in the comments. And of course, vote for the next rebuild down in the comments. Which one would you rather do? Would you rather do the futuristic save? That is my pick. Or would you want to do Dad's pick for his friend Leeds United? Let us know down in the comments. And we'll see you very soon on another video. Bye-bye.